about learning theory. How do you think about our lecturing, I mean? Okay, Muhammad Zaki, maybe. Muhammad Zaki, would you please to share with us?
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat again?
What do you think about learning theory, lecturing? You have been participated. Zaki no respond. Salama, halo Salama.
Okay. I think learning theory, gimana ya? Izin pakai bahasa Indonesia ya, Sir. Jadi dari teori belajar yang sudah saya ikuti selama 14 pertemuan dan sekarang sudah 15 pertemuan, saya belajar tentang cara mengajar dengan baik. Maksudnya ada beberapa teori belajar yang dapat diterapkan ketika kita mengajar kelas. Itu.
Could you please to describe at least one learning theory you have, maybe you very interested most. You are very interested most, yeah. Interested most, I mean.
Oke. Mungkin saya akan mendeskripsikan tentang konstruktivis learning theory.
Okay.
Jadi di konstruktivisme itu siswa mengkonstruksi sendiri pengetahuan mereka. Jadi bisa dengan pemberian tugas oleh guru, lalu siswa itu mencari tahu sendiri, kemudian merangkai, dan akhirnya membentuk pengetahuannya sendiri. Seperti itu.
Okay, thank you, Salama. Salama most interested to constructive learning theory. Halo Eka Ayu Landari.
Halo, Prof.
Okay. Would you please to share with us what is the most interesting during your participation in learning theory classes?
I think same sama kayak Umu, teori belajar konstruktif sih, Prof.
Okay, but would you please to explain to us why do you choose why do you choose constructivist learning theory as the most interesting for you?
Karena itu pembelajaran konstruktif itu sifatnya membangun dan memberikan kebebasan kepada siswa itu melalui kebutuhan atau kemauan siswa itu sendiri dan keaktifan kompetensi seperti itu sih, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Kak Ayu Landari. But before I move to another, would you please, are your curiosity, are your curiosity fulfilled after your participation in learning theory classes? Your curiosity about learning, about science learning, I think, during your participation in learning theory classes.
Maaf, Prof, bisa di-repeat again? I can understand soalnya, Prof.
Similar with me, sometimes I forget. Okay, Eka. Constructivist learning theory. You interesting more, yeah? Okay, thank you, Eka. Okay, I move to Sania. Halo, Sania Rahma. No. Sania Rahma. Okay. Halo, Sania Rahma. How do you think about learning theory you have just participated in?
Maybe I'm about motivation, Prof. Teori belajar motivasi. Because I think in there many siswa itu bukan hanya dituntut untuk belajar, tapi juga kadang diberi jeda kayak ice breaking gitu, Prof, biar nggak terlalu bosan untuk belajar. If I think it's like that, Prof.
Okay. It is special for Indonesian students. Indonesian students sometimes, and not for Indonesian only, but also for Indonesian community sometimes request and do require ice breaking or something joke, something joke itu humor, something joke to motivate. Sometimes it's known as motivation. That is Indonesian students request sometimes. Indonesian students specification. Okay, thank you, Sania Rahma. Halo, Alfariza.
Halo, sir.
Okay, thank you, Alfariza. Would you please to explain to us, to share with us, what is the most interesting for you during your participation in learning theory classes?
Okay.
I think it's really interesting because we learn a lot of method that is used in learning, and I think same as the previous one, like I'm more interested in constructivism learning theory because there is learning by doing and exploring. Like students can explore the material itself. Like I mean, like the student themselves can explore a lot of things, and the teacher only become a facilitator and or advisor, or like I think it is interesting because what you call it, like it is there is learning, love of learning, because constructivism more like mengedepankan love of learning. Jadi siswa itu akan lebih tertarik untuk belajar karena kan mereka eksplorasinya dengan apa yang disukai mereka, jadi memakai jalan mereka sendiri, dan guru hanya sebagai fasilitator. Dan saya juga tertarik itu sih, apa metode yang paling perfect untuk apa learning, untuk melakukan pembelajaran, tapi kayak semua metode ada kelemahan dan kekurangannya. I think that's it, Prof. So I'm more interested in constructivism.
Okay, thank you, Alfariza. I think most of you are more interested. Most of you are most interested on constructivist learning theory. Some of you have explained that this constructivist is student-centered, in which students are participated actively during the learning classes. But I would like to ask Gus Farida. Hello, Gus Farida.
Yeah, Prof.
Would you please to explain with us how to engaging students actively in science classes in accord with constructivist learning theory? Maybe you have any opinion?
Mungkin kalau menurut saya itu seperti itu, Prof. Melibatkan para siswa dalam mengamati dan menganalisis fenomena alam dan dunia nyata. Kemudian guru itu membantu siswa untuk menghasilkan abstraksi atau pemikiran-pemikiran tentang fenomena-fenomena alam tersebut secara bersama-sama. Jadi guru itu cuma sebagai fasilitator, tapi tetap bertanggung jawab terhadap kegiatan pembelajaran di kelas, gitu, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gus Farida. Okay, I move to Mela Aprilian. How about you, Mela Aprilian? How to motivate students to participate a lot in science classes in accord with constructive learning theory?
I think sebagai guru kan dalam constructivist learning theory kita kan sebagai fasilitator. Mungkin dengan membuat kelompok kayak kelompok belajar gitu, nanti diberi kayak tugas kelompok yang harus diselesaikan per anggota kelompoknya dapat berkontribusi dalam mengerjakan tugas tersebut.
Oke. Oke, Mela Aprilian asserted peer teaching ya, or maybe learning together with others ya, discussion ya, or group learning, sometimes known as peer teaching, or learning in a group. While Gus Farida asserted the important thing to observe, ya, the important to observe that is phenomena, for example, instructing phenomena that is can engage student, can motivate student to learn. Okay, thank you. Asmi, hello Asmi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Asmi Natara, would you please to share your perception about learning theory you have participated in?
Dalam persepsi saya, teori belajar itu membantu guru untuk mengimplementasikan pembelajaran melalui kurikulum dan untuk menerapkan kurikulum untuk saya berminat pada teori belajar konstruktivisme di mana guru sebagai fasilitator lalu dalam upayanya itu guru bisa membentuk sebuah kelompok belajar dan memberikannya sebuah kasus untuk dibahas bersama.
Study, you mean?
Iya.
Okay, thank you, Asmi. Good response, Asmi. But most of you most interesting to constructive learning theory. How about Sylvia? Hello, Sylvia. Would you please to explain to us what is the most difficult to learn? What is the most difficult to learn among learning theory you have just learned, have just participated in learning theory class? Hello, Sylvia. You hear me? Noises. Difficult to Something trouble, Sylvia? I hear noise. Okay, Sylvia, maybe there are something troubles, yeah. The connection, or maybe the connection instrument, the connection tools. Okay, I move to Naila. Halo Valia Naila.
Iya, Pak.
Okay, thank you. Valia Naila, would you please to share with us what do you think? What do you think? What do you think that is a learning theory that most difficult for you?
Humanistik, Pak.
Humanistic. It is difficult for you? Difficult to understand or difficult to implement?
To implement.
To implement, okay. Okay, humanistic learning theory is very difficult to implementation, but easy to understand.
Easy, Prof. Insya Allah.
Okay, thank you, Valia Naila. Difficult to implement. Okay, I shift to Dina Sefiana. Hello, Dina.
Halo, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Would you please to share with us which one that of learning theory you have just learned that is most important for you? That's not most important, most difficult for you.
I think same with Valia, Prof.
Okay. Would you please to explain with us the reasons why humanistic learning theory you considered as the most difficult learning theory to implement or maybe to understand? Why?
To implement, Prof.
How to implement? Why?
Dari kurikulumnya itu sudah diatur sama pemerintah, jadi kita itu kalau sebagai guru itu juga ikut aturan dari pemerintah gitu, Prof. Jadi terbatas gitu.
So difficult to implement because the curriculum is top down, it has been determined, so difficult to conditioning, yeah, because of curriculum. Okay, thank you, Dina. Okay, I move to Iksanti. Hello, Tresia. Hello, Tresia.
Hello, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Would you please, according to you, would you please to explain with us, to share with us, what is the most difficult learning theory you have just learned?
I think is humanistic learning theory. Karena menurut saya kan humanistik itu intinya adalah memanusiakan manusia. Nah, dalam kelas itu pasti suasananya itu berbeda, maksudnya situasinya itu berbeda. Jadi kita sebagai guru itu harus menyesuaikan juga, gitu, Prof. Itu yang paling sulit menurut saya di situ.
Okay, thank you. Most of you have the same answer, that humanistic learning theory is the most difficult learning theory to implement in a real science classes. Okay, I want to ask Anesia Anggun. Hello, Anesia Anggun.
Yes, sir.
Do you have the same perception or different? I mean, the learning theory that is most difficult to understand or maybe to learn to implement.
I'm sorry, Mr. Capet. Can you repeat that again?
Okay. Would you please to share with us which one which learning theory you have just learned that is you consider that is the most difficult?
I think is constructive learning theory, sir.
Con?
Prof. Constructive learning theory, Prof.
Constructive learning theory. Okay.
Yes.
I see. Okay, thank you, Anesia. Hello, Santi. How about you?
Halo, Prof.
Do you hear the question before?
Yang Anesia tadi.
Yes, I have asked to many students about which learning theory that is considered as the most difficult learning theory you have just learned.
Bisa diulangi lagi nggak, Prof? Soalnya jaringan saya agak...
Okay, in English, yeah. Which learning theory you have just learned that is you consider that is the most difficult learning theory too, and the most difficult, I mean.
Kalau menurut saya...
In English, something. In my mind.
Oh, in my mind is teori belajar humanistik.
Humanistic. Okay. Why humanistic you considered as the most difficult?
Soalnya kan setiap manusia itu beda-beda ya. Kalau susah gitu loh menghargai manusia itu. Kadang kita itu egois, kayak merasa egois gitu. Kan soalnya di artinya humanisme sendiri kan memanusiakan manusia. Sedangkan seorang manusia itu kadang juga punya sifat egois. Jadi kayak mementingkan diri sendiri tanpa melihat manusia yang lainnya. Jadi menurut saya itu yang lebih susah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Humanistic and Anesia is constructivist. Halo Aida Hanun.
Halo, sir.
Okay, thank you Aida. According to most of your friends said that humanistic is the most difficult learning theory you have just learned. Would you please to explain to us what is actually humanistic learning theory is? Hello, Aida.
I think humanistic learning theory is like teori belajar yang memanusiakan manusia or tolerant with the student. And more important in mementingkan isi dari yang dipelajari daripada prosesnya. I think like that, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Aida Harun. Aida Hanun. Camdani, halo Camdani.
Hello, sir.
Okay, thank you. Would you please to explain to us how to implement humanistic learning theory in science class?
In science class, I think we can ask to student for the next material will be learned. So student want to study biology, the teacher can accept that. So this theory student center, sir.
Thank you, Jamdan. Most depend on student characteristics, especially should be considered student potential or student prior knowledge or student experiences, maybe students interest. Students based on student needs sometimes, as Kecamdani explained to us, based on students' needs. Okay, move to Alia Royhana. Hello, Alia Royhana.
Yes, Prof.
Okay. According to Alia Royhana, which learning theory that is most easy to implement in the science class? That is easiest, easy to implement.
You can? I think is behavioristic learning theory, Prof.
Behavioristic learning theory.
Yes.
Why do you think that behavioristic learning theory is the most easy, the easiest learning theory?
Karena teori ini banyak dipakai di pendidikan di Indonesia, Prof. Dengan guru masih banyak yang memberikan stimulus kepada siswa, memberikan punishment, memberikan reward seperti itu, Prof.
Okay. Royhana choose behavioristic learning theory as the easiest learning theory she has just learned. Okay, thank you, Alia Royhana. I move to Ummu Salama. Halo, Ummu.
Iya, Prof.
Okay. Do you hear my question to Alia Royhana?
Yes, Prof.
Okay, how about you?
I think it's same with Alia Royhana. Karena menurut saya behavioristik itu lebih mudah diterapkan dan masih kayak banyak dilakukan di pendidikan di Indonesia juga.
Okay. So the easiest learning theories, according to some of you, is behavioristic learning theory. Okay, I will move to Shahda once more. How about Nur Shahda?
Yes, Prof. Ini yang paling gampang diterapkan ya, Prof ya tadi.
Yes.
Kalau yang paling gampang diterapkan is constructivist learning theory, because saya merasakan ya di perkuliahan ini tuh lebih banyak itu menggunakan constructivist learning theory. Jadi lebih mudah diterapkan dan juga untuk bagi muridnya sendiri itu lebih banyak untuk berkembang gitu. Jadi lebih kreatif, jadi critical thinking-nya itu lebih berkembang seperti itu, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Shahda. According to Shahda, constructive learning theory is the easiest learning theory. How about Sania? Hello, Sania Rahma, are you agree with Shahda or different
Yes, Prof.
answer?
Maybe I'm more setuju with Alia, Prof.
Oh, it's Alia. So behavioristic, you mean?
Yes, Prof. Because in Indonesia mostly use teori belajar behavioristic.
Majority, you mean? Okay, thank you. I move to Al-Fariza. Al-Fariza may be happy. Sudah. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
Prof.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yes. You have received my question. Okay, I move to Yaya. Yaya Mahardika. Oh, there, no, not yet, yeah. Not yet, Al-Fariza. Okay, Al-Fariza, I want to ask you, according to your experience, according to your experience, are those learning theory applied individually or may sometimes complement or maybe mixed with others?
Okay, I think when it comes to implemented the learning theory, I think it mostly combine constructivism with behaviorism, constructivism with the others, like behaviorism and social, like it in Indonesia, I think it is like combine a lot of method and a lot of learning theory.
Okay, good answer, Al-Fariza. Thank you so much. How about Eka Ayu, according to your experience, Eka? Are those learning theory implement individually or in a combination with others?
I think kombinasi, Prof.
Would you please to give us some facts or proof that in Indonesian classes, especially in science classes, are applied learning theory in a combination or applied more than one learning theory?
I think semua teori belajar itu memiliki kelebihan dan kekurangan seperti itu, Prof. Jadi tidak ada yang bisa, tidak ada satu teori belajar yang bisa diterapkan gitu. Di satu sisi materi itu butuh teori yang ini, di sisi lain butuh yang ini, seperti itu, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Eka Ayu Wulandari. Okay, the last one. Novi Putri Anjani. Thank you, Eka. Novi, halo Novi.
Mohon maaf, Prof. Ini ya. Saya pakai HP-nya Novi, soalnya HP saya itu baterainya habis.
So,
ini baru
Yaya and you are in the same home.
Gimana, Prof?
Yaya and you are in the same home. living together?
Sedang di kos, Prof.
Oh, I see. The same kos-kosan kayaknya.
Nggih.
Okay. Yeah, Mahardika. Novi, have you received any question from me? Hello, Novi. Do you have received any question from me? Or not?
Buatan, Prof.
Or not yet? How about you, Novi?
Mohon maaf, Prof. Ini Novi itu dari kelas A.
Oh, I see.
Pinjam HP-nya, soalnya HP saya ini mati.
That is why I surprised. Sometimes I confused because, but your letter is about 21 PSU. Okay, yeah, Mahardika. Okay, thank you, Novi. I'm so sorry. Okay. According to you all, I conclude that the most interesting learning theory is constructivist. But some of you chose others. And also, the most difficult, most of you considering humanistic learning theory. And some is constructivist. But the easiest learning theory is behavioristic, yeah. And some choose constructivist. Okay. Thank you for your response. Thank you for your answer. Of course, in fact, teachers applied more than one learning theory when in a class. It is seldom to find teacher that apply only one learning theory, but each teacher has one or more favor of learning theory. Jadi ada yang favorit ya, the most favor. So that is why sometimes when he or she is in a class, he most frequently or more dominant on one or more learning theory that is interesting to him or to her. Okay, behavioristic is the easiest learning theory because it's just based on stimulation and also response. Stimulus and response. Stimulus response and based on behavior and how to form the expected behavior. That is to form, to construct or to form, I think, to form the expected behavior and to protect and to remove the unexpected behavior. Behavior is the most popular in the oldest teaching and learning, maybe. In the oldest teaching and learning, in which cognitive is not the focus of learning, but the focus of learning is on behavior, how to change student behavior into expected behavior. Jadi guru masa lalu sometimes. Masa lalu is, as we know, behavior is the earliest learning theory is found. Dia ditemukan lebih awal ya than others. Maybe the earliest learning theory, behavior, and most of experiments. Experiment regarding behavior learning theory involved animals, ya, involved animals. Jadi melibatkan hewan, not humans. The majority of experiment of behavior is involving animals. So we sometimes considering suspected or consider animals can be easily to formulate, to change. I think human is the most favor than animals. Jadi manusia itu pasti lebih mudah ya, easier to change of human behavior. I think I also agree. Yeah, I also agree. The easiest learning theory is behavior, and also maybe social behavior learning theory, and social. Social is just providing any models that should be followed by others, any models that followed by the student. The model can be from a teacher, or maybe can a student who is capable to become a model. Jadi sometimes sosial itu hanya model yang mengedepankan adanya model, yang lain tinggal mencontoh. Social sometimes, social learning theory. And behavior is based on stimulus response. And so teachers should identify the expected behavior from a curriculum, and then how to stimulate the student behavior based on the expected curriculum, the expected behavior, and then how to strengthening itu memperkuat ya, atau tightening, to strengthen the expected behavior among students. Sometimes rewards are suggested, and also punishment are also suggested. Punishment is used to protecting students from unexpected behavior, or to remove unexpected behavior, while reward to support the expected behavior. That is behavior learning theory. How about constructivism? Constructive is actually maybe easy to implement. It's actually maybe easy to implement because teacher just the teacher's role only as facilitator, but to become a facilitator is not easy. To become a facilitator is not easy, especially to facilitate a learning facilitator. It is difficult, of course. The first is you should be a master. You should be master the knowledge. Master the knowledge or the science you are going to teach. And the second is should be mastered as facilitator. You should be a good facilitator. And you also provide some scaffolding that the student may be required when the student gets some difficulties to move on the way you facilitate. Sometimes like that. So student center, and in my mind, is I found it's most difficult. It is not easy to make students to construct knowledge. Students should be learned meaningfully. If they will be constructed their knowledge. Sometimes we just only record, memorize everything, memorize information, memorize knowledge we have learned. So we can storage as many as possible knowledge, but we don't construct any knowledge. The constructed knowledge is useful, not only how to explain, but also to use the knowledge to solve problem or to develop something required. Jadi untuk mengembangkan ataupun untuk mengatasi masalah. This required the constructed knowledge. While in contrast with the knowledge, constructed knowledge, memorized knowledge that we memorize is difficult to use. We may be easy to tell someone, to tell anyone when we get a question, but we cannot use it to explain a similarly or maybe a connection thing, something connection with, or maybe to use it to solve problems or to interpret data or etc. It's difficult. When we just memorize, we just tell it as we memorize. So it is sometimes difficult to change something. It is difficult to combine with others because we just memorize. It is the characteristic, it is the indicator that we are memorized only or we are constructed the knowledge we learn. And when we construct the knowledge, we are difficult. We will get difficulties to forget the knowledge. And easy to reload, easy to reload when we need the knowledge. Humanistic, of course, that is the as its name actually is the most rational learning theory, because humanists can be found in many forms. Many forms. For example, when a teacher identify your experience, when teacher identify your capacity to thinking capacity, kemampuan berpikir. When teacher identify your interest in. When students sometimes ask you about your background, sometimes also your parents, their parents' work, for example, as farmer or maybe soldier, teacher, etc. It's the humanistic learning theory. And also based on what the student need, Okay, any more question? You are pleased to ask question. Any more question? Okay, please. Hello, Zaki.
Okay, Prof. I think it's different between yang Prof jelaskan tadi. I want to ask why school in Indonesia give one to their student you must cut your hair like this. Kamu harus potong rambut kayak gini, nggak boleh panjang. I think why the student must cut the hair like that. I think that hair model and studying proses tidak berbeda gitu kok. Jadi nggak ada hubungannya antara gaya rambut sama proses belajar gitu kok. Apakah bisa dimengerti?
Okay, I see. It is Indonesian style, yeah. While in overseas, it's not like that. Indonesian style, I prefer to short hair, yeah, short hair for men or for pria. I mean, that is not for ladies or for women. Yeah, for men is sometimes asked to have short hair. Yeah? To have hair with a short. Yeah? To have hair short. Rambut pendek. The first, it is sometimes similar to you, Zaki Maulana. Sometimes I ask to myself, why short hair is encouraged for students in Indonesia, especially for elementary, maybe secondary, and also high school. Yes. Sometimes we are not allowed. We don't allow to have long hair. Yeah. Some teachers in some schools maybe have a perspective that long hair is only for women, while short hair is for men. Maybe we can suppose that this to make easier to differentiate between men and women. Yeah, that's the first. The second is to make simpler, yeah, simplest, because a man with long hair sometimes have to provide anything, provide money, provide time to maintain, to care, to be more care, to care with hair, yeah, with their hair. So maybe it is more efficient, maybe. And last one is just to strengthening the disc appliance. Yeah? Sometimes, as we seen for soldiers which have very shortest hair, yeah. seperti tentara ini ya. Dan soldier sometimes known as the most disciplined person. Discipline ya, discipline. Sometimes itu. But I also agree with you. That is not have significant contribution to our learning. As we know, long hair for women is not connected with her ability to think. Yeah, so do for men. Yeah, I think like that. So it is just to strengthen this discipline. To strengthen discipline. That is just only, I think. Is it clear, Zaki?
Thank you, Prof. It is clear for me.
That is according to me, Zaki. Maybe according to teacher, because I have not experience to become a teacher, and also not allow student a man student, yeah, man student to have very short hair. Yeah. Okay, other question? Jadi as you other question, Anesia? Hello, Anesia.
Okay, Prof. I want to add something like why in Indonesia and we at such young age, like in senior high school, we must decide what we want to do in the future, like what I want to get job in the future. Because in senior high school now, as back then when I was in senior high school, I have to choose between science and social. Why are education in Indonesia not priority? The priority that the student is freely can choose subject they want to do, the subject they love to work with. And beside of that, why instead of that we have to choose just between two choice, like either is science or social?
Okay.
That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anesia. Okay. In the next curriculum, it planned, yeah. It have planned by the Minister of Education of Indonesia. That curriculum will not depart as science and also and social science, yeah. For the next curriculum in senior high school or high school, yeah. That is why. Maybe other have any opinions? Okay. The next focus. The next focus of students' competencies. The next focus of student competencies is problem solving. As the industrial countries are more intense to provide the younger generation or youngers with problem solving. This is the best competencies to think and are most required for employer or to get the good job, yeah? Good job in a company or others, yeah. That is most required. That is the skill, problem solving. Problem solving in this way is the authentic problem solving. That is not just a problem like soal, yeah, like a test. Of sometimes problem is mean or refer to a test, but it is not the authentic problem. It is just the academical problems that may be created by a teacher or others to evaluate students' learning. But authentic problems absolutely consist of many disciplines, many subjects. It is not just a science, it is not just social science, but it's the interdisciplinary. Science is one of them. As you know, maybe science, when we used in daily activities, we should have interdisciplinary perception known as STEM, yeah, STEM, sometimes STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and mathematics, of course. Sometimes combined with arts. These are required, especially for project-based learning. Project-based learning is not just learn about the concept, but in this model, students should apply their knowledge that they have constructed. Constructed knowledge is absolutely required here. They have constructed to develop, to create a product, to create product as a solution to the problems of the existing product. Jadi, I explain in Indonesia, this is to solve the authentic problems, untuk mengatasi masalah-masalah kehidupan sehari-hari. It is not sufficient, it is not adequate to involve science only. Jadi tidak cukup hanya melibatkan sains. But we should have interdisciplinary frame. Kita harus memiliki kerangka interdisipliner. Maybe economy, maybe mathematics, maybe others, yeah, that is required to solve the problem. I understand this. This is of course. So learnings in the future in senior high school based on the curriculum should be in a collaboration. Should be in a collaboration with other teachers, not only with science teachers. So in a collaboration. So collaboration skill are do required when this is implemented, but this is not as easy as we say. This is not as easy as we say, because it is difficult. It should be adjusted in a sophisticated fashion. Ya, kita harus atur dengan sebaik mungkin, especially for duration, ya, learning duration, untuk waktu belajar, ya, learning duration and teacher skills, keahlian guru di situ. That is difficult for science teacher, of course, not for science teacher, but others, of course, because it is not a common for Indonesian schools, yeah, system, educational system. This is new, but it is. We just hope that it will be performed based on the theory, yeah, as the theory, and maybe should be adapt in accord with the condition of each school, of each student. Jadi itu tidak mudah menerapkannya kalau menurut saya, difficult. Sebab to implement the project-based learning, to become a problem solver, students should have understand well, should have mastered sufficiently the knowledge that are related to the product, that are related to the project, and that are related to the problems that should be solved. Nah, jadi orang harus punya pengetahuan yang cukup, yang memadai. It is impossible for student which has some difficulties in understanding knowledge, in understanding science that are required, that are involved in the project, involved in a product, involved to solve the problems, to become problem solver. Jadi it is impossible, tidak mungkin. And the second is problem-based learning, project-based learning. It is, of course, scientific thinking skills. It is of absolutely required scientific thinking skills. Jadi membutuhkan kemampuan berpikir tingkat tinggi, berpikir saintifik. Without that, I think it is difficult because it is impossible for a student to evaluate, to design an experiment, to design any information gathering. Yeah, it is difficult to defining variables, to understanding the interrelation between variables or among variables. It is difficult for student which has any difficulties, which has some difficulties to perform or to use their scientific thinking skills. So I hope to you. Of course, you are still required as a science teacher, but you must, in a collaboration with others, applying teachers to solve problems. Okay, this is clear for you. Anesia, do you get the point I have just talked about?
Yes, Prof. I got the point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How about others? Jadi tak jelaskan in Indonesia. Bagi yang bahasa Jepang, tak jelaskan pakai bahasa Jepang, Japanese I don't know. Kurikulum yang akan datang tidak fokus lagi pada penguasaan konten, pada penguasaan lagi pengetahuan materi. But kurikulum yang akan datang akan fokus pada bagaimana melatih siswa untuk memecahkan masalah, untuk mengembangkan project-based learning, dalam upaya juga memecahkan masalah yang dihadapi dalam kehidupan sehari-hari. Masalah ini biasanya not only involve science, tidak hanya melibatkan sains, beda dengan soal, tapi juga melibatkan disiplin ilmu lain. For example, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. For example, itu salah satu contoh. Maybe combining with economy, combining with social sciences. Banyak yang bisa kombinasi di situ. Nah, that is why I understand well to solve the authentic problems that is not sufficient, that is not adequate by using science knowledge, but should combine with other related knowledge. Dan harus dikombinasikan dengan, so we should in a collaboration in conducting a teaching or learning. Ya. Jadi harus dalam kolaborasi. Orang IPA nggak mungkin ngerti teknologi. Susah. Orang IPA juga pasti susah untuk menguasai engineering. It's difficult. Because science in philosophy is how to explain. While how to create, we do need engineering. We do need technology. Science it is impossible to solve problem to apply individually. Jadi kecuali soal memang ya individual, soal sains, soal IPA, soal kimia, soal fisika, soal biologi. But untuk soal kehidupan tidak cukup. I think so. Kita cuma belum tahu seperti apa perwujudannya. We just waiting and waiting. Okay, any more questions? Okay. Is it clear for you? Okay, Santi. Yeah, please, Santi.
Yes, bro. I have about learning theory according to Arthur Combs that grades are not the main thing you want to achieve in learning, but rather the process of acquiring the knowledge. However, in fact, parents still view the value in the learning process as an important thing mine. What do you think of Prof. Herman? Kalau pakai bahasa Indonesia ya, Prof. Ya, saya pernah membaca mengenai teori belajar menurut Arthur Combs bahwa nilai bukan hal utama yang ingin dicapai pada pembelajaran, melainkan proses untuk mendapatkan pengetahuannya. Akan tetapi nyatanya orang tua itu masih memandang nilai dalam proses pembelajaran menjadi hal utama. Bagaimana menurut pendapat Prof. Herman? Terima kasih.
Oke, itu clear ya to you all ya. Pertanyaannya sudah into languages. Kalau two languages ini biasanya harganya mahal. Expensive. Because use two language. Okay, thank you for the question. Of course, it is plausible if parents of Indonesian students still consider the value, the student's achievement, sometimes ranking, yeah, is the most important, yeah, for them. Not only for them, but also for kids. Why? Because they themselves are product of valuing, jadi product of value of education. Produk, jadi dia dihasilkan dari proses pendidikan seperti itu juga dulu, including me, termasuk saya. Jadi ranking is the most important for parents. Value is still the most important for parents. Why? Because they are generated from the same era. The same era with their children. With rank, with value. But they don't, and also of course not only parents, so also teachers right now, all the existing teachers, considering the value, the achievement is the most important thing for students or for educational system. So while the process of learning, the learning process has not paid more attention, not only for parents, but also for teachers. That is the problem that Indonesian education system face right now. Because project-based learning is not only the product as the most important thing of the learning, but the learning process are too important. The learning process is more important thing. It's the most important thing that should be asserted, be addressed to help students to develop. In this way, thinking capacity are the most important thing. Jadi kapasitas berpikirnya is the most important thing. By valuing the process of learning, so can help student, can scaffold student. As we know, sometimes when we consider only on determine the value or the ranking on the product only, the achievement only, sometimes student sometimes there are many activities that is activities among students to get the high value, to get the high achievement, to get the high rank. While the process is the most important, should be addressed, should be explored, should be understanding by the teachers. Jadi proses-proses belajar itu sebenarnya paling penting. Nah, produk ya penting, tapi produk depend on the process. Jadi based on the process. Di situ ya. Jadi tapi orang tua sekarang yang dilahirkan pada zaman dahulu, dilahirkan dari pendidikan yang sistem yang sama, jangan kaget. Tapi lagi nanti kalau Anda jadi orang tua besok. It's different with when you were a parent. You maybe have changed your perspective about the importance of value, the importance of achievement, and you may be face the post-learning process. That is the portfolio. Yeah, this is in this way portfolio. Each student should have portfolio of learning. Jadi semua siswa akan memiliki portofolio belajarnya. When teachers found the student have low achievement, mungkin ada siswa yang rendah prestasinya. Parents can ask the teachers, why? What happened with my children's learning? Dia bisa ditanyakan. When the parents ask the teacher can show to the parents about the portfolio of learning of their students. Jadi berdasarkan portfolio itu, dia akan tampilkan di sini loh belajarnya anaknya. Oke, this is clear, Santi?
Clear, Prof.
Oke. Thank you. Sudah clear. Okay, any more question? Okay, you can ask me other, maybe not in the context of learning theory. Is it okay? I will give you the answer when I know, but when I don't know, that I can postpone it to give you the answer. Okay. Okay, no more question. Okay, no more question. Thank you so much. for your participation, for your response, for your attendance, for your attention during this class. We hope what we have discussed more useful to construct our knowledge, to support our skills of learning theory and how to implement learning theory in our professional tasks, our professional tasks. So we hope it will become the beneficent for us from our God. Yeah. So I myself and team of this course of the subject hope you are forgive me or forgive us when you made some mistakes, yeah, any mistake or any inconvenience, yeah, inconvenience for you, or sometimes maybe that is not make you happy, not make you just have difficulties or everything that is not convenient for you. We apologize for that. Yeah? And we hope you will be developed. You will be taken a deep learning to understand well the learning theory, because learning theory, I think that is very important for us to become a professional teachers that is facilitating you to interact with students and adjust the interaction between teacher and student and among students. The learning process will be placed in accord with your lesson plan. Okay. And of course, by the way, competencies will be achieved for every student. Okay, I think that's all. Once more, thank you so much for your participation. Till whenever for our participate, we can meet in the next course. Okay, and you will be success in this. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, let me to leave. Thank you.